So it's happening. Ryan Garcia is fighting Gervonta Davis. The impossible has been made possible. To be quite honest, guys, of all of the fights that I thought could have been made that were big fights, I 100% didn't think this one had as much of a possibility of being made because there was just way too many politics in between. For example, you had to take the fact that one person is primarily on Showtime with the PBC, while the other fights on the sports streaming app, DAZN, and he's with Golden Boy Promotions. You take all of those elements into effect, and then essentially this is like a nightmare. It's like climbing Nightmare Mountain to get it to happen. So it had to be that the fighters' desires to fight each other was so strong that they were willing to bend here and there to make this fight happen. And kudos to both of the networks, because it will be a joint showing, a joint promotion, or a joint viewing pay-per-view with both DAZN and Showtime. So I'm guessing you could probably purchase it on Showtime, purchase it on cable, and purchase it on DAZN, and they might have a mix of someone from DAZN commentating as well as someone from Showtime. If you don't remember, this has been done before. It was done with Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. That fight was such a big deal, obviously, that both Showtime and HBO, literally, like those are super rivals at the time, decided to do a joint pay-per-view, and it was both HBO and Showtime, and they had, I believe, Jim Lampley mixed in there with Showtime commentators like Al Bernstein. So it's been done before, but it's incredibly rare, and it just shows that I think for the big fights to happen, the fighters just have to be big enough, and by big enough, you got to be Ryan Garcia Tank level. And I think the sad thing is that for a lot of the people who are putting up money for something like Spence versus Crawford, which is my most anticipated fight, the fight that I want more than any fight, is Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. I think to a lot of the promotional teams there isn't that desire monetarily or financially to get that fight to happen, because to them it isn't that much of a money maker as it is a more legendary historical importance fight. But we are here. We have Ryan Garcia and we have Gervonta Tank Davis fighting each other. Gervonta Tank Davis holds the regular I believe WBA belt. Ryan Garcia doesn't hold any belt, but even with Tank's belt, it's not the super belt, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how well this fight does. I think this fight, I'm going out on a limb here. I know it's crazy. I'm going out on a limb here. Okay, guys, so bear with me. I think this fight does over 1 million pay-per-view buys, and I think it can help set a precedent to get the big fight done. As long as the fighters are big enough, as long as they're important enough, you can get these fights done. And this might be a catapult to helping the Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford fight actually get made, right? Because maybe they're not as marketable, right, as these two guys, but just showing these guys doing over 1 million pay-per-view buys, that can get them to feel that the projections for Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, because this is a fight people's been waiting for, could fall in the range of 700,000 pay-per-view buys, right? 600,000 pay-per-view buys, which is a massive success nowadays. But here we are. We got Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I want to know what you guys think is going to happen. I might do my predictions. I have an idea of who I think would win this fight, but I'm going to do my predictions maybe a little bit closer to the fight. Keep in mind, the fight has been agreed upon on all parties. It's not like how the Terrence Crawford one was, where it was just sources saying the fight was done. This is, you've seen Leonard Ellerbe post about this. You've seen Showtime post about it. DAZN has posted about it. Gervonta Tank Davis himself, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions, and Ryan Garcia. Everyone has posted that the fight has been signed, sealed, and delivered. I think what is the only thing keeping this from happening is pending if Gervonta Tank Davis loses his fight, which I believe he's going to fight in January, and he may fight Gary Russell Jr., and that scares me slightly because I do think that Gary Russell Jr. can beat Gervonta Tank Davis. There is a possibility. Gary Russell Jr. is a super athletic fighter, right? And he's very, very smart in there, and he punches very, very fast. Granted, so does Tank, but we're gonna have to see. I believe that Tank has incredibly high level punch selection, and I think that he'll be able to possibly take Gary Russell Jr. out of there, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I think this fight is just pending on that fight, so whatever happens there, if Tank wins, this fight will be basically promoted on that night. You'll have Ryan go up there. They'll probably have a trailer ready to go. They'll do something special for it. That's my prediction for what happens after the Tank fight. But let me know who you think would win between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis. I am super, super excited. Like, we finally got a big fight made with possibly the most roadblocks that I could have thought of for any two fighters to ever come together. Kudos to Ryan Garcia. A lot of people made fun of him, but he really truly was trying to get this fight. I think he was kind of felt like he was tricked by the whole he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao thing, and it kind of derailed the negotiations. But I think he truly always wanted this fight. He was calling for it. He was talking about it, and now it's here. And I think Tank always wanted this fight. Tank been chomping at the bits for this one, and now it's almost here. It's almost here, guys. All right, until the next one, this is Fanatico. Peace out.